Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Exciting things have been happening on the interwebs. This is the 4-bit show, not the podcast anymore. We're changing some things. Collin decided, I decided, boss decided, this guy decided that, you know what? It's not really a podcast, is it? It's more of a show. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to bring it to you. We're still going to be talking about, sailing, gardening, and all of those forgotten gentleman pastimes that we love to talk about so much. And one of those is Star Wars. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Am I right or am I right? Today, with me, talking about Star Wars, the Rise of Skywalker, we have the one and only
Collin Tucker.
Also today, we have a special guest. We're going to start doing guests more often on the show. We have Grant Seufferlein, good friend of ours. He's my roommate, and he knows a thing or two about Star Wars. So before we get into the breakdown of the trailer, what was your guys' reaction in one word? Collin, please start us off. One word reaction. That's what we're doing. We're playing a game.
The first thing I said when I watched it yesterday, about 20 minutes after it was dropped, I said, interesting.
Interesting.
Specifically at the title.
Yes.
The Rise of Skywalker.
Yes, okay.
Specifically at that because I thought they were going to go away from the Skywalker name as a whole. And now that they put it in the last title, it's kind of interesting to me.
It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
It's
I
going
think
to be
it's
awesome.
cool, but yeah.
Okay, one word.
I think my first word was like a tear. I think it just...
Your first word was a tear.
I tried to speak and I was like...
Yeah.
But reaction was probably just like... I think it was wow. It was like, I was a speechless moment of just like jaw dropping. All you can say is just like, wow.
Right. Yeah, mine.
Wow.
I think mine was
Wow.
speechless when they
Yeah.
came up to the Death Star, and then I was freaking out.
Yeah.
Was my word. Freaking out is probably the word that I would have. Just because obviously Palpatine was thought to be long gone by now. Like Snoke was the bad guy. I mean, it's just there's a lot. We're gonna break it down for you, but the one word's interesting, freaking out, speechless, and wow. So if you guys are watching this, go ahead. Let us know what your reaction was. Your one word reaction to the trailer. But now we're going to move into the breakdown section of the trailer. We're going to talk about the different clips, the different scenes, what that might possibly mean for some of our beloved characters, and maybe some of the characters that we don't like Rose. She wasn't in the trailer. What up, Rose?
I like Rose. For the record. I hope Rose is actually...
Rose.
She's the next Skywalker is what it is.
Oh,
Yeah.
She is the Rise.
She is Skywalker.
Very good,
That's what
very
they haven't told
good.
you yet. Like
Yeah.
a Rose.
Yeah, it's kind of like in the first trailer of The Force Awakens, like everybody thought Finn was the Jedi.
Right.
Yeah.
It's actually...
And everybody still thought Finn was the Jedi when the movie started, and then they were like, oh, it's Rey.
It's Rey. Yeah, it's Rose.
Right, so it's Rose. Very good. Okay, so let's talk about the opening scene. The lightsaber. That's what I want to talk about. What the heck is going on with the lightsaber, Collin?
She rebuilt it.
What? What do you...
It was Skywalker's lightsaber, Anakin Skywalker. Right. Her and Kylo, when they had their little force hole, I don't know.
Yeah.
At the end of the last
Force
Jedi.
tug of war.
Like a tug of war, yeah.
Very
And
good.
it destroyed. She was obviously able to get the pieces and rebuilt it, and maybe built it in a different way. And so, but I think it's gonna be interesting to see if that means anything, because objects are force imbued or places are force imbued, and so to see if that changes in any way. She's putting her signature in it, and so like I think the lightsaber building is not a big part of the movies, but it is part of like the comics and the other stories and the TV shows. And so I think that's very key. So they probably will not show it at all. They'll just do the time jump and just like Luke built his before Return of the Jedi.
Right.
Like it was just built. He had it. They cut the scene out where he was building it on Tatooine. But I think there may be, especially since J.J. Abrams is directing this one and he directed 7, where as soon as she touched the lightsaber, she had all these flashbacks. She had all these different memories that weren't hers or situations. I think they may play into that more, because I think they're going a very spiritual direction of what the Force is, and that it is. The Force isn't just for Jedi or for Sith; it's for everybody. And how does this play out?
Exactly right. And we watched the Last Jedi yesterday.
Yeah.
And one of the favorite things for me that we paused the movie and talked about was where Luke describes the Force
Yeah.
to the viewers. To Rey.
To Rey.
No, Rey.
You mean when Rey's describing it, where she says like,
oh yes,
like
sorry. Yeah.
Life
it's Rey.
again, peace, chaos, like that.
Yeah, all those things.
And he says like in between, and she's like leading her through it. He's,
Right,
like, in between
right.
it all, and she's like peace.
Yeah, and so that's the first time that we also had that. It's like the Force, the Jedi and the Sith could use.
Yeah.
But that's not actually what it is in reality, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought that was really good point. I think I hope that that's where they take it, because they have the ability to do that too now. I feel like not that they didn't before, but it's not something that they thought of because they were still building the story.
Right.
The originals, they literally built the story. Then the prequels, they had to build the story before the story.
Yeah.
And now they can do pretty much whatever they want, in my opinion. However, bringing it back to the lightsaber, if Rey's not a Skywalker, I don't really understand. I don't get it.
Well,
you know, because that's it. No. As far as the lightsaber, because this whole entire new trilogy has been of people finding their identity, which is what we'll talk about. Which the trailer gives a lot of good stuff about identity, and for the second. It's the continuous shot from her face onto the lightsaber, but for the second thing for us to see besides dirt, you know, be the lightsaber, I think that there's got to be some significance there, because there's no way that Luke, Yoda, Obi-Wan, you know, all the people who are Force Ghost Jedis now that we know about, wouldn't be able to tell her where to go make a new lightsaber. Because if she could make a new one, why wouldn't she just go do that? So I think there's a little significance more than just the lightsaber's back. I think it's like, yeah, she's a Skywalker, or like that's my personal opinion, because the identity throughout the whole entire thing. So I think her identity is, you know, there's maybe that's what she thinks. Maybe she thinks she's a Skywalker still. I hope that she is, because that would make a lot of sense to me. Yeah. But that's just my honest opinion about the lightsaber, anyways.
Yeah. Well, I think that she can be a Skywalker, and I think I would be fine with it going either way. If it is revealed she is a Skywalker and she is part of this like historical lineage of Jedi, I'm fine with that.
Yep.
And I'm fine with Kylo Ren. That I think it would make that moment between her and Kylo Ren in The Last Jedi saying "you're nothing." I think that would make it more impactful, because he was trying to beat her down, saying "you're nothing without me, because let's join forces. You're nothing without me. I will carry you." But instead, no, you are somebody.
Right.
And so she has to discover it on her own. I think that would be cool. Or if you go the opposite way, she's not a Skywalker. The Rise of Skywalker is actually just referring to Kylo Ren, which I have a theory about if trailer number 2 when they release it. But I think if she is nobody, then she just creates her own identity outside of the Skywalkers, which then pushes us into the future. Like every generation has a legend. The legends were the Skywalkers now. Yeah. Who are we going forward with Rey and Finn and all that.
Right. So moving on from the lightsaber to what the next thing is. Yes.
I was going to say, was part of the lightsaber thing I just want to throw on there was like, you were talking about a little bit how it's like the Force is part of the process of making, it's like Force imbued and everything. I think a really important part of this, like with finding her identity, is like she takes what was broken, and like when she reforms it, she has to build it herself, because it was attached to Luke, right? And then now she is like, by taking it apart and remaking it, she's actually putting more of herself in it than Luke ever did. Because Luke just used what Anakin had, right? And so it was really Anakin's, and then like became connected to Luke, but Anakin who made it. Yeah. And so she's gonna have a stronger connection than Luke ever did to it, because Luke never had to rebuild it and put his Force like in the process of making it. And she has to now. And she has to control that, so it'll have more of her than Luke ever did. So I think it could be some really interesting connection stuff between those things.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Also in that same shot is the gun that Han gave her.
Yeah, I noticed
that.
Behind her, and
both together, looking back to the past. Let's go forward now. Like what if what's been given by the previous generation? Let's go forward.
Really good. Yeah. Good comment. Okay, Grant, I want to talk to you specifically. I want to ask you this question. So what's not more of a question, just comment on this. The first time that we see Luke, he is in all white regalia in a desert planet.
Great. The last talking about, or are you talking about Tatooine? In number 4.
Sorry, in A New Hope. In A New Hope, the first time we see Luke is when he's standing on Tatooine in all white clothes, on a desert planet. Tiebacks with Rey here. What are your thoughts on that? Because the first time we see her, she opens up. She's in all white.
Oh yeah,
she's
no,
on a
it's
desert
absolutely
planet.
it's absolutely
What
parallel.
are your thoughts?
I mean, I think this goes into like how J.J. Abrams makes his movies, which is like every moment is totally intentional, right? If he does something where it's like, oh, this seems like a reference to that one random moment that this guy said in episode 5, when they're like running through the base trying to get away from the Empire. Like, if you think that's a reference to that, it probably is J.J. Abrams, and I love that because he's drawing all these parallels intentionally. Like all of number 7 was just like a modern update of number 4, basically. It was like, hey, what if 4 was like better acting and better screenplay and better writing and modern technology? What would it look like? And that's basically what it was. And like all the parallels are totally intentional. When he gives you the shot of both the blaster and the lightsaber, it's exactly what you're saying. It's like he's doing that very intentionally. He's not just like haphazardly throwing things together and you were like, oh, I think you're referencing this. And he was like, yeah, sure. That's what I meant. Like, he's totally doing it intentionally. And so I think it's definitely drawing a parallel between their stories, between generations, and like bookending it. Like our first shot, our last first shot, story arcing it a little bit.
So next question that I have, the shot of what we think initially, if you don't maybe play it back, is that Kylo Ren? Is that a TIE silencer? Or is that Rebel scraps? What is that ship? Just quick thoughts.
I think it is Kylo Ren.
Okay.
I think it is his ship or an upgraded version of his ship.
Because we watched The Last Jedi. It's not the ship that he has in The Last Jedi.
No,
not even
correct.
close. Not even close.
His first one looks more like Darth Maul's ship a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
A little bit.
I think it is him, but I'm not sure if he's trying to fight her or kill her. Like, if that's not from the beginning of the movie, and because they left at odds at Last Jedi, if it's not that and they are together like they were during the fight of The Last Jedi where they're fighting together, so if almost they do come together, and so that could be, let's say that's 3/4 of the way through the movie,
right,
and they actually are working together to become better.
You're thinking she's like running and they're gonna do a cool thing where she like jumps up and flips and lands into the cockpit next to him? Is that what you're thinking?
It could be
that, she jumps up and she lands and she's like, let's do this, and they like You know,
so
I don't know if that's what you're saying.
I want to go into
that's crazy.
I want to go into a little more of that. That is my what if. Like my what if is inside of that scene. What if is a later section that we're going to be talking about. And so I just wanted to kind of get your guys' initial thoughts. So you think that it is Kylo Ren in a ship at least?
Yeah.
Okay. And
I don't know. I tried to catch several shots last night, this morning, of his gloves in The Last Jedi.
Same gloves. Correct?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so, but it could also be like
I googled them. You can get them at Walmart for $10.
Well, we should need to go buy some. We need to stop this. We need to go buy some. Come back and just say them like this. But I don't know because I don't think that's his ship.
It's not his personal ship.
But it looks like kind of like the modern version because the new ships have like the red and stuff on the front. It kind of looks like a TIE Interceptor to me. Is all it looks like. So it could be him.
Well, the TIE Silencer is a real ship that
I was going to ask you that. I don't know if I've seen the TIE Silencer.
Look it up. So that's the current debate. What do you guys think? Do you think that is a TIE Silencer? Do you think it's Rebel Scraps? Do you think it's Kylo Ren? What do you think's going on down there? So let us know. Also, confirmed at Star Wars Celebration, Rey's, this really isn't, well, I guess you guys can tell me what you think about this. Rey is going to have Force abilities that we've never seen on screen before. We've already seen a little bit of that. That's one of my favorite things about the new Star Wars is that they just make stuff up like with Force abilities because like you can't say that that's not what it is.
Yeah. Right. There's like
which is great.
They get to add a new power and you're like, it's the Force. Like someone else just figured out a way to use the Force.
One of the most iconic moments of 7 is when Kylo Ren stops the bolt in midair.
Yeah.
Right? Like that, everybody was shocked at that moment because that's never happened
Or
before.
the first time they do a Force Ghost, even though that's like number 5, right?
Right, yeah.
Like that was... You only know number 4, and the next time they're like, here's something new it can do.
Right,
and 6 like, here's something new it can do. Like
exactly.
Exactly.
So that just makes me
One has
happy.
like the speed running thing.
Yeah.
And like amazing
jumps.
Oh,
yeah, yeah. So if you look back at the movies, each movie has something different that's never been seen before.
Yeah.
And so I know a lot of people were upset when Luke transported him, or not transported.
Yeah,
like
the
what would you
hologram.
call that? Like he just
like a force image across the galaxy.
And I remember a lot of people were like, "That's impossible" or whatever. And then was it Ryan Johnson who they have like a book at Disney of all of the things that can and cannot be done or whatever. And he like flipped to page like 7,000 and he's like, "Yep, right here it is," or whatever.
Like this thing.
And I was like, "There's a book of that."
It's like a picture. It's in Jedi runes.
Yeah. So that just makes me excited that we're gonna see new things that have never been seen before because it's new technology. There's you can do it now, so don't Don't make me think about it anymore.
Mhm.
Do it for
which
me.
is
so
which
that
is
I
part
can
of the cool
watch.
thing in 7 when Luke does. I love that they've trained us to know that like every episode they're going to find something new. Because in 7 when Luke takes all those blasts at the end on Crate and it's like all the red fire,
yeah.
you're like, okay, he's surely dead, but like obviously they didn't just kill him. If the
Right.
music isn't too dark, like the tone's not there, like,
Yeah.
and they wouldn't just walk him out to die.
Yeah, right.
But like what's happened? Like maybe he like made a shield, maybe he's so
Right.
good he can
I
like
thought maybe
absorb
a
it.
shield,
And I was like, they trained you to think like, what is the possible
Right.
force ability he has? And he's just
Yeah.
like doing an image.
He just does a
Yeah.
little brush off the shoulder.
Yeah.
Super cool. So that makes
so
us
badass.
excited. But let's move on from. So that pretty much is the main part of the trailer. Like it's 2 minutes long, and
Yeah.
the opening scene is like 1:10.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
awesome. It's the best part in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's an actual
there's
look
so
into
much. Like that is
the rest
there's
of
lot
it's like
movie
literally a
to
teaser.
dissect.
The rest of it's
Yeah.
literally like, here's their
Mhm.
face, here's their
Yeah.
face.
Okay, so let's move from the opening scene just to what immediately follows it, which brings a lot of laughter and tears. It's like the next montage, kind of the only montage, the only teaser bit of the trailer, and that next up is that dark planet. Don't know the exact name. Can't even really make out anything. It looks like it's popping though. Whatever it is, it looks like there's a city that is like popping. Initial thoughts for me were, could that be the planet from Rogue One where Galen Erso created or helped create the Death Star? Obviously, it's not in the same exact location because the rock formations look a little different.
They do, yeah.
And in that one, the Rebels land, or the Resistance. Are they called the Rebels then, or the Resistance in Rogue One? They're called Rogue One.
Rebels.
Yeah.
Okay. They land like on
Rebels,
the floor, so it's a little bit different. It looks like this is like the high rise of the city, like the up and ups. Like it looks like it's very different because obviously you wouldn't make.
Do you think it's a city?
In the background, I think
Because it kind of looks like almost like a military base to me.
Oh, it could be.
Like it looks too
There's some
small. I can't
there's
tell if
some
it's
type
like
of thing.
it's almost too small to be a city, but I can't tell how far away.
Exactly.
So it could be the edge of a big city. But
There's
it also
something
looks
there with lights, though.
Right, yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
But it just that makes a huge difference. Like, are they going
Yes.
there for an adventure, or is this like military base sneak on?
Yeah. So I think obviously you're not building the Death Star, in the high rise of that community. So that's why it was on the floor. Could be different.
That's 5. We'll give it this time.
I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts about that? Do you think that's a brand new planet? Do you think that's the Rogue One planet?
I don't think it's Rogue One planet. I do think that could be one of the locations where they go that Lando's at.
Oh,
Because if they're looking,
that's nice.
if they're going to someplace like Leia's saying, there is help out there. There are people we can reach out to.
Yeah.
Just like in Episode 5, where Han's like, we can go to Lando.
Even though they abandoned them.
Yeah, and so I think that's gonna be a planet where like he's there, he's just
Nice.
kind of just out on the
Chilling.
outer rim, just hanging out away from
playing
everybody.
Sabak,
Yeah, yeah.
dealing in Sabak. What about you, Grant? Thoughts?
I don't know, man. Yeah, I don't think.
Could military base?
Yeah, I think
Military
obviously the
base.
military base idea. I don't think it's the same planet. The rock formations are too different. One of them very much looks like, to be too nerdy, but like tectonic plates,
Right.
like an actual mountain. But the old, like the one in Rogue
That's very
One was like an igneous rock formation of like cooled lava, where it's like more pillar-like almost. And those are very different.
That's
So,
important to know.
so usually it's like, usually what they do is they make one planet, one ecosystem, right? The whole planet is an
That's
ocean
true.
or a desert, and so they wouldn't have like one planet that's like half that kind of rock formation and one that's like
maybe
volcanic rock
different.
formation. You know, it would be if they're sticking with that, which like is how Star Wars works. Then I think it's different.
Also,
planets.
really, it is impossible to tell what it could or could not be.
Yeah,
because
also
it's like a
we have no
millisecond.
idea.
It's like a millisecond, and it's
which is
far
yeah,
away.
it's literally a teaser. It's
right,
literally
exactly.
a teaser. It's like,
Teasing
oh,
us
what is
to
this?
make
Oh,
a full video
here's
about
this
it.
person.
Thanks, Star Wars. So next shot is of the Red Forest. That's just what I'm dubbing it as. Don't know if we want to call it something else, but Kylo Ren leading the assault. I get so excited. Right there it is.
This is
Literally so excited.
it's beautiful.
Like, for Star Wars to kind of... Here's what I want for this scene. I want Kylo Ren to lead his troops into battle.
Yeah, he's like a peer.
Yeah.
Literally what I want. I don't know if you guys have seen the Old Republic... is it the Old Republic where Darth Malgus comes back? It's the video game.
Yeah.
It's like...
Yeah.
There's like 5 20-minute segments or whatever. They're actually like 10
Right, they're like
or 5.
movies, yeah.
A reason why Darth Malgus is like one of my favorite Sith is only because of that, right? Like
It's
everybody
super cool,
always,
yeah.
That's what I want. I want
like that lead-in actual troops into battle kind of thing.
Because there's so many flashbacks to World War II throughout The Last Jedi.
Oh,
throughout like maybe some of The Force Awakens. The themes are very strong there.
Yeah.
Just do it already. Just make an all-out battle on foot. No starfighters. No.
You can mean Attack of Clones now. You're talking Attack of Clones, like land-geared troops.
Yes.
Let's line up across from each other and fire each other with blasters.
Yes.
Which is a great way to.
Yeah,
it's very effective warfare.
And so, it's interesting though that Kylo Ren just doesn't cut this guy's head off. Yeah, you know what I mean? He kind of stabs him with the hilt.
Yeah, he pivots it, and so the blade's coming out this way, and he gets him with the hilt.
Does he get him with the hilt? Because that's what I was thinking, and then he just suplexes him. He just shoves him into the
he goes and he rips him open.
So good. And Kylo Ren really is one of my favorite characters, just because he's not a Sith. And he knows he's not a Sith. There's a problem with Sith lords who think they're Sith and they're not actually Sith. And Kylo Ren's like, I'm not Sith, but I would like to cut people up. You know what I mean?
He also thinks he's more evil than he is.
Correct.
He's like trying to get like this all of her 7 is she's like I know what you really are. He's like, what am I? Say it. She's like, you're a monster, and he's like, I am.
Yeah, right.
Yes, and
he's like, he has his shirt off. When he has his shirt off,
he's like, I'm super evil. It's like you don't understand how dark I am. You know, are you though?
Yeah.
Are you?
I know. There's a moment where I hope he does come back, but also like, my question is when does Rey have enough time to not worry about Kylo Ren and go look at Death Star ruins? That's my question.
Why?
Did she kill him? Is he already good again? Is he dead?
I have an idea what that I want to say later.
A lot of questions. Oh, is that your what if maybe?
Kind of.
Okay.
Sort of.
We'll leave you on that then. Okay, so moving on from the Red Force to the helmet reconstruction. This was a huge part of The Last Jedi, with Kylo trying to find his identity, trying to move away from Darth Vader, move away from Han Solo. I guess Ben Solo too.
Well, yeah.
Trying to become his own person. And
but also he'd just been ridiculed by Snoke. Snoke was like, you're no Vader. It was right after that scene. Yeah. And this was his connection.
Yeah, and that's huge. So we just briefly touched on identity with Rey, the lightsaber, and calls back to Luke, and then also, and Anakin, and then her being in white on Tatooine. And this for Kylo, for me, is his identity crisis is in full waves. I don't even know how to correctly say it because it's just so over the top. He broke the helmet. Now he's not. I mean, it's clearly not him who's reconstructing that helmet, unless he turned into a Wolverine. You know what I mean? The hair is coming out of the hand, and so I don't know if you can see. Full on. Those hairs look like they're coming from that guy's armpit too. It's just so long. So I think it's really symbolic. Obviously, what is Star Wars without a little bit and a lot of it is symbolism. But his helmet is being held together, like they're reconstructing it, which symbolizes, for me, his identity is so fragile at the moment because he doesn't know what he is. Hopefully he finds it. I want him to find it. I'm kind of cheering for him, because I do enjoy him.
Two different sides.
Yes.
He's like, it's this, no, it's this, and I'm going too far this way.
Yeah, because he couldn't kill his mom. He couldn't kill his mom.
Yeah.
Right? In the first one. And then also he couldn't, he did kill Snoke though, so he's not totally evil. Or he doesn't like Snoke that much, you know? So there's a lot of questions with where is he at right now? And I think I don't know if this is him reconstructing the helmet, or if somebody just grabbed the scraps and is reconstructing it, or if this is like a replica, or what.
I think
it's very symbolic for me in the teaser for that.
Is him he is Vader, right? Because Vader never. I don't think Vader ever wanted to be, when Anakin becomes Vader. That process, he's not wanting to be evil. Right, his whole thing is join me and together we can rule the galaxy and make this good. His thing is we can bring peace and order to the galaxy. He's not I want to be an evil person when he's first transitioning there. And that's where Kylo's at in 7. When he talks to Rey, he's not saying, no, I can be the supreme leader. He's no, together we can be something different and better. We can bring peace and order out of this chaos. And she's no, I know where this goes. You're literally just Vader. He is on the same road that Vader was, but everyone thinks of Vader as the evil at the end. They don't realize who he was when he was trying to do good. So I don't think maybe he realizes that either, but they're paralleling the story again. The story arc is the same, I think.
It's fun stuff.
Maybe he gets a redemption at the end, like in 6, a dying redemption thing, like Vader did.
I think it is interesting that this helmet reconstruction scene is right after we see him not wearing the helmet, which looks like it could be a last battle.
Oh yeah.
Because like I think in that battle, on that planet scene, I'm not sure if the sky's actually red or if there's something happening that's making the sky red.
Oh,
because you see like flames in the background, it's a battle. Maybe there's something big. Of course, in Star Wars, they gotta have some
Maybe the rebels
super
attack
weapon.
or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I
Oh
was
yeah.
thinking like crate, so it could be like, in crate how the dirt is, or it's red when you pick it up.
Yeah.
And so it could be like that.
Trees
So like
or
dirt
Yeah,
or something.
yeah, it could be an environmental thing, or it could be
Yeah.
so. But then they show him with. I mean, I think the red lines. If he does wear the helmet, I think the red lines make it so much cooler.
Right.
Yeah.
It's. I hope that
Like
it's
the
not just
dark
like
black
mock
against
metal
it.
that cools down. I hope it just stays that way.
And also, I hope he
yeah.
wears his hood again, because I was just talking about this
Oh,
with
yeah.
Dan. He looks way better with his hood up. He
Yeah.
looks way more menacing. When his hood is down, he looks like kind of like
It's
a
like
kindergartner.
too
Yeah.
small, too soul to me.
Yeah, and then like his
He's
neck
like-
it like cuts off right here and it's like really skinny.
Yeah.
So it's like really wide at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the proportions are all weird. It doesn't connect enough.
But he's the
Yeah.
leader of the First Order now. There's General Hux, but now Snoke is gone.
And Hux kind of was like, he literally put Hux to his knees with the Force choke. He's like, he's like Supreme Leader's dead. He's
And
like,
then he
Yeah.
and then he like slaps him up against the side or whatever.
yeah.
And so I think everybody knows General Hux, as we saw in Last Jedi, he's kind of an idiot.
He's a funny idiot though.
Yeah.
I like it.
And
I like how funny he
Like,
is.
like a competent idiot too.
Yeah, but like
It's
the
like-
theory is that he was promoted by like his father was some general leader.
Oh, really?
And
really?
then, like that's the theory is like maybe he just put it here and he just keeps making mistakes, but he's like, hey, my dad's really cool, man.
Right.
And so like, but the opening scene of Last Jedi when it's just Poe Dameron just messing with him, and he's like,
Yeah.
can you not hear me?
Yeah. I
And
can
so-
hear you.
and then
Can
Kylo
you hear
Ren
me?
is just such an emotional guy. He can't lead anybody. He just makes like he's just so emotional.
Right.
Like you see like in episode 7 where he's like just destroying the computer and the two guys like, or was it maybe it's 8? Where he's
Oh no, it's
Kylo's
7 where
like
he's cutting it
slashing.
up because he loses.
But it's the two stormtroopers
Oh.
walking down the hallway and they're like, nope.
That's
That's
in
seven.
7. That's in
That's
7 where
seven.
Kylo is.
Yeah.
But it's just everybody knows they're just like, all right, we just got to leave this guy alone. He's
Yeah.
going crazy. We're just gonna ignore him because he doesn't know. Like the stormtroopers who are awful and terrible, like can't shoot anything. They know that their leaders are incompetent. It's just kind of like this joke. It's just like, this is terrible.
We're bad.
Like,
We're not
we're
smart.
everything. Like, make a decision like this is a stupid decision, but like, I guess I'll turn the ship around.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And
Everyone else is
so-
emotional and they're like actually soldiers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's funny.
yeah, a lot of questions. A lot of questions with Kylo Ren's identity. And then moving to the next. The next is. Moving to the next scene, the next image is Finn and Poe. And I think they put this together in a way that it made sense to me. Kylo Ren has a broken identity. They showed it with the helmet. Finn now is wearing his new strip. He's actually got clothes. Finn also talks about it in, not Finn, John Boyega talks about it in Star Wars Celebration, just that happened yesterday, that he has found his identity because he also has his stuff on now.
Mm-hmm.
Like in the first one, he was wearing the storm, just the all black, like he still was it was very symbolic for me is that
And then
he
with
still
his-
had everything black with just a jacket
The
over
jacket
the
over
top.
top,
And
yeah.
he didn't know, because he left and then
Which
came
he
back. And
was
so
just
now
trying to
he's
do
got
that.
his own stuff. As we see, he has
His own
multiple-
resistance outfit.
Right, yeah,
basically.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's huge. He has his own stuff. So
Oh, yeah,
his
right.
identity for me is now found. Kylo Ren is like kind of like, we don't know. And then Finn, is in the foreground with his own, and he does have multiple outfits in this small trailer. And Poe is looking sexy as ever in the background of that initial image, just
And
smoldering up on top.
Finn has Rey's staff.
He does.
And it looks
He
like it's the
does.
same planet from the opening scene.
Yeah.
And so I think they're all there together in something's because then we see which is probably one of the next scenes, we see the chase scene. I think it was spent a
speeders,
good portion of the movie on this planet.
Yeah.
Like I think I don't know. To me, it's like the middle of the movie. They're developing something. They go to this planet. They're trying to do something. The other scenes we see are temporary. They're picking up something, but they're preparing for something big.
Right.
And we
And
see
it's
a
like-
small
yeah.
adventure on this planet.
Like they're at someone doing something, someone doing something specifically, and then almost like the First Order's tracking them, and Rey's like, I'm gonna go scout this area, and Kylo's like, I'm gonna go scout this area, and then they see each other, and she's like, shoot, now I'm gonna get back to the base.
Right.
And he's like, I can kill her and then get back and we can crush them together.
So
Yeah, like a whole
yeah.
main
Really
story
cool.
arc there,
Yeah. Definitely
That's
looking forward to that.
interesting.
To that scene because it looks like there's a lot of fighting that goes on, and I love a little fighting. Okay, next scene for us is the new droid, D.O. Confirmed that's what the new droid's name is.
Yeah. Yeah, he called him a friend.
D-O sound. Yeah, but
He said
I
a
can't.
friend of R2 is what he said in the celebration thing. He's like,
A friend of R2 or
yeah.
a friend of BB-8?
No, he's or BB-8. Sorry, he's like, yeah, BB-8's got a new friend here.
Well, probably a friend of R2 as well.
Right, but like it's a friendly droid.
My thing is, like, when are the droids going to take over? Because now we got 4, and the army is slowly growing, am I right? Or
You know, like iRobot style here.
yeah,
like,
exactly.
or down the
But
stage
for
or
real, what
stuff.
is the significance of a new droid besides, I'll tell you what the significance outside the movie is, toys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what the significance
Yeah,
is.
for sure.
But also, like, BB-8 is one of my faves. Like, when he
Oh,
came
he's
out,
great.
I thought he was hilarious.
Yeah.
Or she, don't know what it is.
Yeah.
BB-8 is, like, just so funny to me. And it's funny even when I try to come up with the words
that it's saying.
that BB-8 is
Right,
saying.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like in that opening scene with Rey when it first meets Rey, and it's like making all the beats to her, and she's like
Right, yeah.
having a conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I wonder what he's saying. Or, like,
Yeah.
obviously, Rian Johnson also had that fun idea, and BB-8 was the one that said, I have a bad feeling about this in The Last Jedi. He confirmed that. I was mad when I didn't find it the first time. In the movie, the first time that I watched it, I was like, what the heck, where was it at? Or did I miss
Like,
it?
why
And
didn't they
then,
say it?
Rian Johnson tweeted that it's in there, you just have to listen. And so I went again, and I didn't
it's
see
like-
it again, and
it's
I was
like-
like, I specifically only came to listen to that line.
Is it in his beeps?
And it's in BB-8's beeps. That's the first line that BB-8 says.
It's like, it's like
Yeah, I have a bad feeling about
this.
this.
It's like,
Yeah. And then they Poe and Leia both confirm that is what he says too. Like, they're like, I agree with the droid or whatever. And he's like, happy beeps. He says it like that too. So I'm happy. I'm like, when they both turn their heads sideways like dogs. I think that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Because that's about all we get, isn't it, of Dio. But significance for me is comedic relief. And I love comedy in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Love it, love it, love it.
Speaking of droids, we don't see R2-D2. He's not in the trailer at all.
Right.
Shoot.
And so,
We see 3PO, but and we see BB-8. Multiple
and then like
times.
this scene, which is at the very end,
Mm.
you see like the whole.
Yeah.
That's the scene. That's 3PO.
I was like, I was just about to say,
Yeah.
is he in the last scene? And then you already had it up.
Yeah.
That's what
And
I'm
so,
saying. If he's dead, like, why kill him
He's
off?
no.
He's
There's
not.
So the rise
Well,
of
because
R2-D2
it's-
is what it should be
Well,
called.
it's what we talk about too. He can't be right. Because
Yeah.
the story is through the eyes of R2 and
Is what George Lucas always wanted.
Yeah.
I don't know
Well,
if
and that
right.
goes back again to like the journal of the wills or whatever.
Right,
It's like recorded.
right,
Like
right.
it's recorded through them. They're not.
Right. Well,
They're
it's
not
actually
good.
Yeah.
it's the wills.
You know what I'm
Do
saying?
you know this? The George Lucas wanted Star Wars to be called a journal of the wheels from the Skywalker saga or something like that. Or it was something to that.
Like the
I don't know
Wars of
exactly
the
what it
Galaxy
is. Yeah,
scenes, like
don't
they're
roast
keeping
us for
recording,
not
and
knowing
it's
what
like
it is.
opening up and it's
Yeah,
like, oh,
the wheels
it's
are
the
like
Star
the things
Wars
that
story.
run. Yeah, the
Oh,
wheels are
gotcha.
the things that run the universe, and that's why the Skywalker saga is Star Wars right now for us.
Because that's what we're currently
It's like,
reading from
yeah,
this.
Yes.
it's like in the old
Yes.
Disney movies where they'd open up a book of like Sleeping Beauty, they open up the book
Yeah.
and they're like, now we're going to read from
Exactly.
Sleeping Beauty, and then it
So,
like enters it. It's like
I don't know if that's still what it
Skywalker.
is. I don't know, like, because
I imagine at least.
Disney has made a lot of stuff canon and legends, and it's hard to keep up, I feel like.
Yeah.
But so I hope that that's still kind of what it is. But
Yeah, I
anyways,
think it was.
moving on to the next scene, we have Lando and Chewie. One last mission, boys, or what?
Oh,
Is
yeah.
this a secret mission? Is this a suicide mission? Is this whatever?
This is-
Because then, in the next shot, Medal of Bravery
Mhm.
is up. And I think that the teaser, obviously they lined it up in certain ways that you're going to ask questions that probably don't have any significance. However, I feel like Star Wars doesn't fake things in their trailers like Marvel does.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
Marvel wants you to keep guessing, and Star Wars is like, we could literally show you Rey standing still, and that be the teaser, and everyone would lose their minds, and they'd
Yeah.
be like, yeah, that's
Yeah.
the opening scene from Star Wars, the
Yeah.
new one. And so I don't think there's a ton of that in this one, and I think there might be some significance of Lando and Chewie going off, followed by the Medal of Honor right after, or Medal of Honor, Medal of Bravery right after that. But what do you guys think about Lando coming back in?
Well, I
What's your
just want to
thoughts?
say with that is like, again, I don't want to beat this horse to death, but like everything's a parallel to the movie, right? Like
Right.
the whole thing is a parallel to 6. You get this shot where like Han's doing something else now, or now he's dead, he's not there, right? But it's like now again, like 6, we get Lando and Chewie flying together, like they did in 6, like through the middle of the Death Star, where it's those two in the cockpit again. We're getting that back again, which I think is really cool. And again, before that, with the shot, I guess we'll talk about it in probably a minute. Where they're on like the land speeders, land cruise. They have a skiff, like in the beginning of episode 6 on Tatooine, and also they're on those land speeders, like they are on Endor.
Yeah.
Right. It's like everything is just like paralleling back to the original shows. Like that's what it does. So part of it for me is just it's giving us like the episode 6 one with Lando and Chewie when they're flying through the Death Star. It's just like giving that to us again, which I think is.
I think we're gonna see just like we saw in 8, the like Chewie and Leia, they both lost Han. Lando also lost Han.
Yeah.
And so him and Chewie in this, they're gonna have a moment, I think, where it's kind of like, and I think that's where the Medal of Bravery comes in. I think it's Han's or Luke's. It could be either one. Or I guess Chewie got one off screen. We don't know. In 4, that's you doesn't know.
That was my theory that it's Chew's medal that he hands to Leia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it's Han's.
Yeah, and so it could be any of them, and it could just be a pile of them.
I mean, she was the one that gave him out, isn't it? So
she could lift up. Okay, we got now who?
Yeah, who didn't get one yet?
Who survived that storm? By the way, were you there? You got a medal.
But I think we're gonna have a good emotional bonding between Lando and Han. I think they're flying to the last battle. They're flying in like.
Because it doesn't show, they specifically cut it off right as they're coming out of like speed.
They're a decoy, right? They're like, let's show the Empire's fire way over here while they sneak off
because they hate the Millennium Falcon
and blow up the Death Star again, like whatever it is.
Because they hate it.
Right. Oh man, they hate that shit.
Yeah. So then we have Medal of Bravery. Whose is it? I think Chewie. You think Han?
Yeah.
You think there's a pile of them?
It could be like Chewie handing it to Leia, and now Leia's
I feel like it would just be so cool for Chewie to be like. Because that was a huge deal. It's been a huge deal since the medals were given that he did not have.
It's alienism is what it is.
It is. It is. And for him to hand that would be the most epic, like, in your face.
But he's not holding it as a thing. What would he be doing? Like, what would someone else be holding it? That's my only question.
Well, he gives it to her as he boards the Millennium Falcon.
Oh, like he's like, it's been an honor. I want to get his back to you.
Yes.
Leia's like,
okay, that could be cool.
Yeah.
And then he like does one of these.
You can do this, and he's like, you remember this?
Yeah! He just pulls it out of the satchel.
Oh! What do you think all these are? These are.
Woo! And everybody's just like.
He gives her like a Han. He doesn't leave. He's like. Just like Han.
Oh, that would be amazing. So moving quickly through the rest of the trailer here, we did miss a couple of parts just because we're already pretty long recording, which is okay. So we have Rey and Leia embrace. A lot of people have said this is the embrace from 7 when she gets off the ship, just digitally modified or edited. I don't want to believe that because I just cried thinking that could be the last time that she actually got on screen. That's a new recording.
It's new.
So everybody cried at that point though because Rey was crying and then shed a tear pretty much. And then we have the team up money shot. That's what I'm dubbing it as. Team up money shot. Yeah, where they're peering out and they look at the Death Star ruins, which is actually what J.J. Abrams said he wanted to originally do in The Force Awakens or in The Last Jedi. I'm not for sure. He said he wanted Rey to already have discovered some of the ruins of the Death Star. But it couldn't for some reason. I don't know what it was.
With being on Jakku, that was the last battle of the Rebels versus the Empire after 6. It's only covered in the books, but all the
trees
that's on the ship that she's scavenging from is from that last battle of the fall of the Empire.
Right.
So I think that's what they've been said. But I was like, what happened here? And then it made people read it.
So,
well, that's in
and we were talking off screen about this. What planet is this? Do we think?
Oh, the Forest Moon of Endor.
Or Endor.
Yeah, no, so Endor is a gas giant, apparently.
Oh,
that's
like
the
actual planet is it's like a purplish red color, I think is what it is.
Does it really?
Yeah, I looked at a picture. I didn't know.
Perfect.
But yeah, the Forest Moon of Endor. It's what it's got to be, right? Because like the
you would think
because
wasn't
the
the one in
fall
6
down into it explodes over it and a chunk of it just fell down.
Right. The one in 6 was just was the one in 6 in the middle of nowhere? Just like in the middle of space?
No, that was 4. That was 4.
4 was in the middle of nowhere?
6 wasn't finished yet. It was operational for the laser, but it was not self-sufficient, being able to travel across the galaxy.
And it had to be close to the moon, so they could get a shield around it, because that would came from the moon. And that's what they shut down. That was the whole thing.
Gotcha.
Well, 4 could travel through space.
So, debatably the most bone-chilling moment of up to this point was seeing the Death Star for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then
and
then Palps.
Yeah.
Palps.
This scene where they're looking over it, Luke is with the voiceover saying, "No one's ever really gone."
Yep.
And then the laugh.
It's like it's like a 1, 2, 3 punch. It's like the whole time they're giving you little teasers, like hitting your stomach, like toying with you, and then they're like, "Haymaker, haymaker."
Right. Yeah.
And then it's like ultimate punch, and they're like, "This is boxing, you can't kick me."
Punch.
And they're like,
the line "No one has ever really gone" is from Luke. Also says that in The Last Jedi.
When
he also says that in The Last Jedi.
To Leia, right? Yeah, he hands her
With
Hans.
the end.
He hands her Hans dice.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
says no one's ever really gone.
So my question is, because a lot of people were like, "Oh, this voiceover confirms that he's back in the movie or whatever," and I'm not saying that he's not. The voiceover does not confirm for me that he's in the movie because
other things do.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they could have just been like, "Hey, come record this voiceover for the movie because you're Luke Skywalker,"
Yeah.
and that would be awesome.
Right.
Well, who was it? Was it Obi-Wan's voice or Qui-Gon Jinn's voice that was in Force Awakens?
It was
just
Obi-Wan's and
Obi-Wan.
Yoda. Neither of them were in the
Right,
movie.
just like these are your first steps, and
Right, and so that doesn't
yeah.
confirm. I hope that he's in it in some capacity. That would be amazing. And
I'd
I'm
be
sure
fine
that
if
they
Obi-Wan's
could.
in there.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, bring back
please.
Samuel L. Jackson
Please.
as well. But no,
Everybody.
yeah,
You got Kit Fisto
thousands
over
of
there.
Jedi's. Yeah.
It's all good.
Oh, Kit Fisto would make it. He's a
Hey, yo, you
no. I love Kit
right
Fisto.
now.
I love Kit Fisto, but he was made out to be a baby in the first.
Well,
when he, to be fair, a 720 spiraling Sith Lord screeching
Yeah,
at
dude's
you.
not Darth Sidious, okay? He had a bad movie.
So the voiceover here, the words that they say, "We've passed on all we know. 1,000 generations live in you now, but this is your fight." That's the opening scene that takes a minute or whatever.
Mhm.
And then when Rey hugs Leia, "We will always be with you." And then right before Palpatine's evil cackle, "No one has ever really gone," which we know is the first. So this section that I have in green, the first voiceover, the first scene, that's all new stuff as far as I know. No one, he's never said that before. As far as I know, I've had to do a lot of research on the voiceover.
No, that's new.
We just happened to be watching The Last Jedi last night, and he said no one has ever really gone.
Yeah, the 1,000 generations is a reference to when the Sith fell.
Correct.
And so,
Right.
that's probably what she's learned over reading the books and just from her meditations and stuff.
Okay.
Just and that's what in Phantom Menace they talk about that.
Mm.
We haven't had a Sith for
Yeah,
so
right,
long.
right.
Surely there can't be one, but they've been doing the Rule of Two for so long, and so.
So for
That's right.
okay, so let's actually. Are you guys ready for your what ifs?
Yeah.
We're just gonna cut to that because we're at 42.
Yeah.
Okay, so this section we're going to talk about specifically things from the trailer of The Rise of Skywalker. This is our what if section. We're going to flash up something big right there. What if? And so our what if section, gentlemen, these are the rules of engagement. Something from the trailer, you have to try to convince us, or maybe this is your theory of something that could be happening, not necessarily in the movie, but what's happening here in the trailer. Like we said before, Star Wars and Lucasfilms and Disney, well, Disney does, don't they, kind of, but Star Wars isn't known for modifying their trailers to confuse their audience, although they kind of did in this one a little bit with that scene.
They mismatch things, but they don't
They
cut
did.
stuff
Right.
out.
Right. Yeah, and they don't edit it just for the trailer.
They do mismatch it. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, and so it's a little different. So, Colin, do you have your what if?
I do.
Okay.
And it does.
You can begin, and then Grant, do you have yours, or do you want me to go second?
You can go second.
Okay, so it'll go Colin, me, and you.
Yeah.
Okay. So, the Death Star that they're falling on, if we're talking about relics and identity, like we talked about the lightsaber, and we talked about passing things down, if they have to go to the Death Star, not because Palpatine's there, but his presence is there, and there's some weapon, there's some relic of knowledge that's there that they have to go get.
Okay, yeah, that was my what if too.
Oh, was it?
Yeah,
Oh,
literally exactly what it was.
Oh, okay. And it's also, I know you said within the trailer, because it's also a reference to things that they've done in the
What's a
TV
what
series.
if as well? So your what if is from the trailer, but it goes
Yeah.
on.
And so because there's say a comic, it's a really good comic of Lando, he hijacks his ship that's going across. He hijacks, he's like, yeah, I heard there's some precious materials on here. Finds out it's Emperor Palpatine's ship with tons of Sith relics on there.
Oh, shoot.
And
He's a cruiser or whatever it was?
yeah, and he hijacks it and they end up having to destroy it in order to escape.
Okay.
But all these relics, partially the ships were destroyed or whatever.
Oh, that's awesome.
But then he's going through all that stuff. He doesn't know what it is, but one of the guys with him knows what it is. He's like,
What are these glowing red pyramids? I don't know.
yeah, there's some holocrons. There's are some
Sith
lightsabers
stuff.
and stuff, and then but the guy's like, whose ship is this? And he's like, I don't know. I just heard it was
He didn't know
I just
that
heard it was Emperor Palpatine's ship.
Oh,
that would have been
then they
great for
found
you
out
to tell me.
because
He thought he was just saying some random shit, and
Yeah.
that had said holocrons and wow.
yeah, because he was flying under the
That's
radar,
terrifying.
and so they were
That'd
transporting.
be so scary.
I don't know where, but he was moving because Darth Sidious was so big about collecting all these artifacts, so
Right.
nobody could have them. Jedi
Right.
and Sith, nobody could have them.
And he
except
could have
for
all
him.
the knowledge. He
Yeah.
could become ultra powerful.
And so, if
Which-
there was stuff on the Death Star, weapons, even if it's for the non-force sensitive stuff, that's where they're going. That's what they're trying to get.
Right.
But also,
Yeah.
just like Luke had to go into the cave on Dagobah, it's gonna be hard for Rey to go there. Like she's gonna feel some immense
okay.
pressure, and Kylo Ren could also be going to the same place.
So do you think then?
Maybe it's a race.
Yeah.
Do you think then that like are you saying? Because this goes with the laugh as well. I think is he back really, or is he a Force ghost back? Because if they go there, it could be like. I could see a way in which he like survives and has built his own new like layer almost there, but also I could see just like his Force ghost is attached to the power source there that still killed him.
Yeah,
I don't want him to be back.
I can
in
see
human
them.
form.
I don't think I do
like
either,
flesh.
but I could see them doing it in a way.
Yeah.
Especially
sure. It's Star Wars,
like where it could work.
Yeah,
That's what
absolutely.
they did in Legends. Is he actually created himself again?
He cloned
He cloned
himself.
himself. Yeah.
And
Did
so
he clone himself on Jakku?
what?
Yeah.
Did he clone himself on his facility in Jakku?
Yeah, and then he had like.
Am I
Okay.
saying that right?
Alright.
Jakku?
Yeah.
Jakku?
Jakku.
Yeah, that's what I was to say.
Okay.
It's like hand in hand. You're fine.
Yeah. And he had like all
Damn,
these
that
different
was
procedures in place. Like, hey, if I die, this is what's got to happen. All
Right.
these things have to happen in place. He already
Yeah.
had established
A
like.
contingency.
A little bit,
plan.
yeah.
Yeah.
Battle for
So
two, yeah.
contingency.
Okay,
So-
so nice. I like that. What if?
What if?
My what if
Yeah,
is
right.
in the opening scenes where so we'll take it from where Rey ignites her lightsaber. What if this is a training session for Rey, and this is somebody from the this is like Finn, or this is and this is Poe flying this thing.
Okay.
Because if you look at where
You said I
What's
think like
his face?
Karate Kid. I think training session
Karate,
and
yes,
Karate Kid like
okay.
montage,
Yeah.
and that's why I was like, I can't do this.
so
Okay, yeah.
the what if is because they show Kylo Ren's hands doing this or whatever. That doesn't mean that he's in that shit. That doesn't even mean that that's.
There's
yeah,
it's like a
another
second
gloves.
of him doing that. Yeah.
They could
I
be,
mean,
they
it
could be
looks
like the
like his
Walmart
gloves.
gloves.
Yeah.
Like he's like some Walmart, like those are good gloves,
Yeah.
and Poe's also like Walmart. He's like these are good
Right.
gloves.
Yeah. But
That's how
that
they-
scene right there could be
Walmart
from
finance.
any type of machine that's ever existed ever.
Yeah.
And so
It
that
doesn't
could be
have
a
Right.
to
So
be
that's
scripted.
like we're talking
about
about matching
mismatch,
shots. Absolutely.
And so I think
It's actually like a
because
crane or something.
because that ship is not shooting her, she turns away from it, runs,
Yeah.
and does a flip over the top of it. There is a moment where I think when she does the flip, right before it fades out to black, she like flicks her wrist and leaves the lightsaber
It's like
down,
trailing down.
and it looks like it's gonna cut the ship in half. It really
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
Or maybe that's just the motion of her arm. I think that this is her. Like maybe we're gonna get some training in this movie for her to become the person that she's
I
supposed
like
to be.
that, and I like
Yeah.
it being Poe because Poe is such a good pilot.
Right, that he
could
would know.
benefit-
He would
He's the-
know
he's the only person who can
exactly.
do this. It's
Exactly.
not-
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's
So
not
I
Jedi,
think.
yeah.
I think hopefully it is Poe. I didn't say Finn before, but like just somebody else.
Yeah.
It's not.
Well, you would have
it's
to- you
not
would have to
what's
go,
his
yeah.
face. But however,
Kylo.
that changes because then there is the huge fight, obviously on the same planet from the.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Well, I think it
they
could
do
go.
they do mismatch the jump. The jump is at a completely different time. It looks like it's at a completely different planet.
I
looks-
think it's like the same planet, but it looks like it could be like
It's
like
just a
farther
different
away.
location.
But it looks like the same planet,
Right.
like same stuff, but it's literally not.
Because
the
the
same
Rocky
background.
Mountains are behind them in the
Right.
first shots,
And
like,
the
you can't
second
turn
one,
that,
when
so.
he jumps, it's like, oh, they're like off in the distance now.
Right,
Like it's a couple
yeah.
miles away.
Yeah.
And it's like 4 hours later. That's one of the first parts in like,
Right, it's
it's
like-
noon.
Yeah, that's
And
what
the
you were
last part
saying.
is it's like 6 p.m.
Yeah.
Which was in like running. There's like exactly this far apart for
Yeah,
like
so
4 hours.
it could be a stolen
It's like-
vehicle, and I think that might lead the resistance, or not resistance, the Empire, or the First Order to track them down. Maybe there's some type of tracking.
Right, like I find my iPhone, find my TIE Fighter.
Yeah, but
It's on your
that's
phone.
what I have for
Don't
what
have
if, and your what if was
story.
the same as his, correct?
Yeah, exactly the same question.
So that's all the time that we have for anyways here. Those were our what ifs, those were our thoughts on the trailer breakdown. If you guys are watching this, make sure to leave your comments below. Are you excited? I can hardly wait. I cried about 5 million times because that's how many times I watched the trailer.
Yesterday I got back and Levi was in the middle of watching it already, like when I got back, and he's trying to look at me, he's like crying. He's like,
Yeah.
all I've done for the last
Yeah.
half the hour.
I just
And then we
rewatched
watched
it.
it again like 4 more times
Yeah.
right there.
But this has been the 4-Bit Show. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.